Welcome back, fellow reefers. We want to start documenting changes or anything that we have done to our main display, just because simply, we'll create a video and it's about, this product or, what's going on, so what are we doing to fix it and this and that. So, but recently, I said in past videos that, I want this channel to be about essentially a journal, so we could always go back and see what we've done wrong, or, hey, all of our corals are doing extremely well. So what did we do within the past month that could possibly be causing this? Everything's doing well. Or, on the flip side is, in the past month, what did we do that essentially caused these corals or, anything to happen within the 180 gallon? So I'm going to go around the room and let all you guys know and myself what we have done and what's going on with the main, because we haven't really discussed that either. I've been to Mike Andrews' home. I've seen his aquarium. He's given me coral frags, and yeah, I made a video, showing you the frags inside of a frag tank, but I essentially didn't show anybody these frags inside the aquarium. Now, with that being said, the corals were doing really well, but that could just be because they were healthy. They came straight from Mike's tank. They were extremely healthy. They hit my tank. They were doing okay. I essentially was like, okay, I'm an SPS master now. Yeah, right. So I went out, got myself, what was it? The Jason Fox, Fox Flame. I'm sorry. I had a brain fart there. Got the Jason Fox Flame, stuck it in here, and lo and behold, I've had some issues. Now, I've spoke to Mike, personally, and because if there's anybody I want to talk to or get advice from, and this goes for anybody out there viewing this video, if you come across somebody who has an extremely beautiful tank, it's in perfect condition, has extremely great growth, healthy corals, those are the guys you really want to talk to, because they're the ones that are going to be able to help you out the most. With Mike having his tank up for so long, that's not an issue. But essentially what's been going on now, I'm going to try to flip this around just so we can show you what's going on with the tank before we go around the equipment and see what we've done differently. So let me flip this camera around here. Okay, sorry about that mumbo jumbo mess there. So now what we're doing is we're going to take a look at some of these corals here that we have. I'm going to get these glasses on here, see if I can essentially kind of give a better view, get all these blues out of here. So right there, as you can see straight ahead, I don't know if it's clear or if it's blurry, but that is a purple tip stag Mike gave me, and next to it, which is green right there, is the frog skin acropora. Next to it, as you can see, is the Miyagi tort. Now, I was kind of wigged out. I saw that some of these tips and everything were starting to turn white. The coral lights were turning white. I'm thinking, oh, okay, it's starting to bleach. And thought maybe it's possible growth. So it's not everybody. So we're just going to keep going around here. Straight through that cave, where that chrome was just at, is the Jason Fox flame. All the core lights are white, tips are white. And then we have the frog spawn right here with the purple tang. I hope this is clear. And coming down here, a really nice chalice. Some flame tip clove polyps right there. This right here, it's hard to see because it is kind of blurry, but that right there was the Tubbs stellata that we got from Mike. Up here, that was the pearlberry, not looking so well. And same with this Millie right here, that was the Jason Fox, if I remember correctly, the violet Millie. Coming across, this is the Anacropora. And leather toadstool's doing good. All the softies, I mean, you can see back there towards the back, which would be the front side, and on the other side of the other room. All the Zoas, softies, and everything, they're doing really well. It's unfortunately it's the sticks, man. Right here, this might be kind of blurry, which I'm hoping it's not. This is the Tidal Gardens Surf and Turf. Now all the tips, they were, you know, essentially at first, you know, they were like, they're supposed to be blue. New growth is blue. But when you have the actinics on, or you're using your blue spectrum, everything looks blue. But when you turn your more whites on, it starts to show the real reality of what's going on, which is, you know, the tips are really burnt and what have you. Up above it, from Mike's tank, also is the Red Planet. That was doing really well. It's still doing okay. It's got minor burn on the tips, and the base has a little bit of receding. Right down here. Now, I don't remember if this is just a blue tort, or if this is an Oregon blue tort, or a Cali blue tort. Either way, it's a tort. There's two of them there. I'm getting some bleaching on the base. I'm getting some burnt tips on that, and in the back there, I'm not quite sure if that's a Slimer or if that's just some other sort of kind of green stag. You can see the right side top. Tips are white, kind of burnt. But I mean, down there, the neon green toadstool doing wonderful. Hammer colony doing wonderful. Frag down to the right of that doing wonderful. So, oh, and I forgot the Milko right down there. There's a piece of it, and then the Milko is right through there. Now, it's been puffier, but it's also, you know, not bleaching. So with that being said, let me turn this back around. Now, what have we done differently as far as this tank is concerned? I mean, I've tested everything. I've even went and I bought kits for iodine, potassium, and iron. As far as, you know, those go, iron shows that it's very low, but I want to watch how much of that I dose. Potassium is fine. Iodine's 0.06. That's where that should be. So I'm good there. Now, when we go to all of our other regular parameters, KH, sitting at between 8.5 and 9, you know, give or take up and down. Calcium is between 420, and I tested it last night, 390 last night. Now we'll discuss that in a couple minutes. What else? My magnesium's finally down. We finally got that from up over 1500 ppm. That's down to 1350 now. So I don't know, you know, nutrients, we thought it was a nutrient problem. Well, you know, I've been dosing, I don't know if you can see here, you know, we've been dosing nitrates from Greenleaf, but, you know, I can't necessarily say that it's that product that's doing it. You know, and I'm not dosing a lot of it anyway. You know, we're talking 180 gallon aquarium. I'm dosing, you know, maybe 2 ml a day of it, and that has me up between one to 2 nitrates. Phosphates, I'm at 0.10, so I'm okay with that. pH, that is sitting right now as I'm looking at my apex. That's sitting at 8.2. I get a high of 8.39, which is almost 8.4 during the day, and then I get a low as I'm looking of 8.19 overnight. So yeah, I'm getting that fluctuation from the pH, but I'm not quite sure that's enough to cause all these problems. So let me see here. What else have we done? As of now, I have stopped dosing in nitrate. I've been feeding the fish. The fish have been, you know, eating frozen food. That's keeping my nutrients kind of where they want to be. So I really don't want to throw anything, I guess you could say artificial, into the tank. But after sitting down and really thinking about it, and after talking to Mike said for me to do an alkalinity test on my effluent coming out of my calcium reactor. Well, I did that, you know, totally did that. I did it 2 separate ways. I took the straight effluent, put it in the vial, I tested it, and the result came up with my HANA checker, 300 ppm, and it was flashing. I'm talking, you know, just flashing, which means it's tapped out. It's as far as it can go. Now, with that being said, I said, okay, well, I'm going to try doing what a lot of reefers do, and I'm going to fill up the test vial, 5 ml RODI water, 5 ml of effluent. Well, I ran that test, and it's flashing, 300 ppm. Now, according to BRS, you know, and some other people and stuff, you know, anything over, you know, 20 DKH of your effluent is good. You're good. You know what I mean? 20, 24. I think I've seen bulk reef go up to like 30. But when you take the ppm and you multiply that 300 ppm times 0.056, that leaves me with a 16.8 DKH. So I'm well below, or actually the actual HANA checker seems to be coming up, you know, that anything over 16.8 DKH is as tapped out. It's as far as it can go. So what I'm wondering, and I'm running this just for a while, just to see if there's an improvement. But what I was thinking is my reactor, which I'm going to flip around again here so you guys can see. my reactor, which is right here, that is the Reef Octopus Cal React 220, and I'm using the Kimura to run that. Now, what I want to talk about is the fact that this reactor is rated for 500 gallons. So we're talking, I mean, this thing is a monster. I mean, look at this thing. I mean, it's pretty big. But it is rated for 500 gallons. I have a 180 gallon display. Take the rockscapes, sand, what have you, you know, that's going to displace the water a little bit. So I'm going to take 20 gallons away, just for sake of argument, and say, you know, I'm sitting at 160 gallons. But when you come over to the sump, you know, it's almost half full. I'm going to say we're going to take 20 gallons and add it. So I have basically, you know, 180 gallons total water volume. What I'm thinking is the effluent or this reactor, I think just, you know, it's so big, it's ready for a 500 gallon aquarium. I'm wondering if this thing is just oversized for this tank. And naturally, you know, when I bought this reactor, I bought it, you know, with the intention of, in the future, if I ever upgrade to bigger tanks, well, I got the equipment. I won't have to go and buy this, you know, much bigger equipment that costs money later on. I'd already have it. So I'm just wondering, you know, can that effluent that's coming out of there just be so strong and abundant that it's kind of, you know, burning the tips, you know, into the main. Like I said, I don't know enough about calcium reactors to say yes or no. You know, I know when I was running 2-part, I never had any issues whatsoever. You know, keeping SPS, LPS, softies, ZOAs, not an issue. Everything's doing great, like I said, except for SPS. So what we've done change-wise is I've lowered the bubble count all the way down to, you know, 10 seconds per bubble. And then if you can see my Kimura right here, I don't know why this isn't clear, but I'm at 0.2 milliliters per minute. Basically, you know, I'm shutting it, I don't want to say I'm shutting it down, but, you know, I have it down so low. The drip rate itself, the drip rate there is just so slow coming out of there. And the reason why is I don't want to totally shut it down. I want to keep it going, but essentially not really be using it. And I've switched back to 2-part. So what I'm hoping is, you know, I want to see if the 2-part switches things around, you know, makes a nice recovery. And, you know, if the corals, let me switch this back around, guys. Now, you know, if the corals essentially do a complete 180 and start recovering, well, then I know it had to have been the reactor, because essentially I'm exhausted. You know what I mean? All of everything else that I could essentially test for, I sent the ICP out, you know, that came back, you know, that my iodine was low, but, you know, like I said, I've done a water change, I've dosed, I've got my iodine at 0.06. So, I've exhausted everything that I think as a reef keeper I can do. But looking around, you know, I look at all the equipment, I look around the room, and I'm like, I don't know. You know, what could it be? And then it has to be possibly that this reactor is just so big, you know. But you hear stories of people, you know, they'll buy a reactor that's rated for, say, you know, 100 gallons, 90 gallons, 150 gallons. And then everything's great, you know, with their aquarium, everything's great until all of the colonies just really start to take off. And then once those colonies take off, then there's not enough, you know what I mean? They can't keep that reactor full, you know. It's just the corals are consuming way too much calcium and KH than that reactor can produce. So I wanted to go big, and I had the opportunity, so I did. But right now, if this isn't the problem, you know, so be it, you know what I mean? But what else could it be? Leave in the comments, you know, have you come across, when you've had your reactors, you know, a large one, a really big large reactor on a smaller tank, you know, were you having issues with it? Other than that, it could be lighting, you know what I mean? But from what I'm running, there's no way my par is just frying these corals, you know what I mean? I've been over to Brandon Barber's. I've seen his tank. You know, he's running, you know, 4 Ecotech Radion XR30s on top of his. Plus, he had the ATI, which I believe he said he was running 1 hour a day, not really using it to supplement that much because he had more than enough par coming from his Radions. Now, myself, let me switch around once more. I'm going to show you this lighting. So once I pull up this canopy, this might be hard to see, but I have the Aquatic Life T5 hybrid. So I'm running 4 80 watt Blue Plus T5 bulbs. Now currently I haven't been using them. I have those off. Now my main source of lighting are these 1, 2, and 3 Kessel A360 WEs. I've had these for years. And just recently, like within the past week, I've stuck up my old Chinese black boxes, 2 of them. But I have the black boxes running at, I want to say 10% power in the blue spectrum, but the Kessels are running 100% power. Now, there's only 3 of those. There's just no possible way that, in my opinion, these Kessels can be absolutely overpowering these corals. There's just no way. Considering, you know, guys are running their Radions, man, and they're just pushing that light. You know, in my opinion, I don't feel I have an adequate par meter, and nobody locally really has one. And if they do, they really don't want to, you know, say, hey man, I'm going to bring a par meter over. We're going to check out this tank, see what your par levels are. You know, yeah, they'll do it, but they'll do it with, you know, hey, I'll bring my par meter over, but I want some frags or whatever. You know, well, as you can see, there's really not much I can offer because, well, half of them look like shit. So it's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. But other than that, you know, I just wanted to give everybody an update. And before I forget, I have a surprise for all of my subscribers coming up on Christmas Eve. it's pretty cool. It's going to be a video, I can tell you that now, and I do have a gift for all of you guys. So check out that video whenever we put it up. It's going to be in the evening, probably early evening, just after dinner time, because we really do not want to, you know, it's Christmas Eve. I don't want you sitting down watching videos, man. You know, be with your family. But, you know, it'll be there. You can either watch it Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Heck, you can even watch it, you know, the week after. But, you know, this is something from us to you guys as a thank you. And short of that, we'll see you on the next one.